And what is happening, Grazy Creators? In this episode, then, we're going to be showing you guys how to do our first critter. Now, we will be showing you how to do eyes of the critter and stuff separately in a more advanced state. But in this tutorial, we will show you a version of an eye to do, so we're going to leave you on the eyes. So it's a long tutorial, guys. I think this is part 1. It's about 40 minutes long. Take regular breaks, guys. Don't forget your safety goggles, and please save your work. That's essential. Please. You'll get so frustrated otherwise. And I really hope you enjoy the show. Alright guys, before you go into this episode then, it's always best, now this is also for part 1 and part 2, okay, I'll explain it all here. You need to ensure that through our tooling round you've looked out to work with layers, how to work with Jiminy, things like opacity and size, how I use across the top. Generally I'd say go in and learn it all first, but you don't need every single little bit that we've done there. Learn how to use your brush tools and have your presets done. And I do a little cutting out in this, so the selection tools, if you take a look at that, and generally the resizing and definitely layers, as I've mentioned. Anything else, guys, you will find it in our tooling around series for our tutorials. However, anything at all, anything you find is a bit, ooh, I need to know a bit more about this and I can't find anything, Carl, or Grazy, whatever you want to call it, send a message in and I'll get straight on top of it for you guys. That's my aim. I want to create a great show for you guys, so you guys have to tell me what it is you want. I can't do anything about the autism or the cheapness of my surroundings until I get a little bit of don't hate me. Do not worry, that is all coming. Thank you all. Enjoy the show. And welcome then, guys, and then to create our critter, then this is going to be the setup. So you want to go into your design templates when you're starting up and you click the new template, yeah, design template and 4x3 design screen, right? You want to click that and that and use template. And the only reason we're doing this is for sizing, ease for me, right? Don't worry about you. If you follow along, and then once you've done this, you can transfer it to a different sizing or whatever you need, right? So but you don't have to do this. This is just easy for me to explain. If you think you are intelligent enough to follow along, and what I mean by that is you're skilled enough, should I say, skilled enough to follow along, then do so. Otherwise, we want to select our basic 5. If you've got yours in Jiminy, if not, go up into your brush presets, find basic 5, or type it in search and you'll find it. There it is there. And we're going to be starting with black. No, sorry. We're going to do layer 1 first, and we're going to start with background color. Yeah, I've got yellow already selected. So I'm going to pick yellow. If you guys follow along, we're going to click layer 1 over here. Let's get and then we're going to go to fill tool and fill him in. Right? And then we have the background. Layer 1 then, because we're going to get used to labeling some of these, we're going to write in background. Forgive me, I'm just let me second. Just write in background or whatever you want, backdrop, whatever, and then click onto layer 2 and we're ready to start. Now, as you know, background now is fill the entire of our sheet yellow, and layer 2 is invisible until we start drawing on it. So we're going to go back to our brush, and we're going to increase our size all the way up. And there we can see now we have a bigger circle on the screen. Now I'm actually going to bring this down. If I do try 3/4, yeah, that's it. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. I'm going to bring it down to 3/4. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go for a pink. I'm going to go for pink to go with the yellow background, and I'm just going to put spots like that. Okay, a nice little spots like that. Then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to press Control and G to make a group, and name this group. Well, this is layer 3, and I'll name it just body. Okay, if you follow along, and you'll pick it up, and you'll start understanding why I'm doing these certain things. Now, in this body, then I'm going to make another layer. And I want to do it because everything's done with circles, guys. The same color, and we're just going to bring the size of the circle down. So I'm going to bring halfway, and then just bring up a little bit more to about that size, okay? So you can all see on the screen how the size I've got the circle, right? It doesn't have to be perfect. You can make it however you want. You can resize it afterwards. All this, guys, honestly, do not stress on it. All I want to do is click on circle there, and then come down to the duplicate button down here, and click that. Now, sometimes it doesn't say copy of layer 4. It may say layer 5 or 6 or something like that.
Hello?
You need to delete that because it hasn't copied it correctly. I don't fully understand why it's doing that. So Krita, check that. It's happened a few times. Maybe it's just my slow computer. Anyways, now you have a duplicate of layer 4. What we're going to do is come over here to the our movement tools. Just any one of the movement tools, because all I'm going to do is move it from here to here by dragging it with the left clicker. Okay, and that's the copy of layer 4. And these, I'm going to use these as sort of like eye sockets and put eyes in them. Okay, so we're going to show you how to do that. Okay, so and this is all I'm going to do with my body for the moment. Okay, guys, so I'm going to close that, and this is just going to be the body section of this, and we'll move on to the next section. Okay, moving on now. Right, so what I'm going to do from here, I'm going to take a big leap now, and I'm just going to create. I tell you what, before, just follow me. On the body, select the body folder, and I want you to put Control and G in again, or group, or however you do grouping. Right? Remember, I told you you can get it into groups and Control and G here, okay? And you do that with the right click. Now, on this one, I'm just going to type in the word. All right, so CC, Crazy Krita. All right, so that's what we're going to do, Crazy Krita. And on the body, then I'm just going to now click another layer. And don't forget, if that goes in the body one, you just have to get it out of there. Okay, so we got another layer now, and this time I'm going to turn this into a group, Control and G, and then when it says layer 7, I'm going to write arm, and then click back on this layer 6. Now, layer 6, we're going to get our little brush tool back, and we're going to bring the size down. That'll do. It doesn't have to be perfect. Look where mine is. I'm going 105 or something like that. And I'm going to zoom in with my scroller on my mouse. Don't forget, guys, you can zoom in quite easily, bring up Gemini and move in this little thing here, okay? If you don't have a scroller on your mouse, that is. But I like using the scroller on my mouse. And what I'm going to do here now is I'm going to make a circle. Now with this now, I'm just going to click this duplicate button down here. Make sure it says copy of layer 6. It does. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn on my move tool, and I'm going to move this layer here. Right? So we've got this sort of like arching going on between them. I'm not going to go too much like this, although you can. I'm not. I'm going to come a little bit and give this arm a little bit of meat because it's all going to be made out of circles. Now, again, I'm going to duplicate that one. And I'm going to do the same again. And I'm going to go about 5, okay? I like going for about 5. You can do as many as you want or as little as you want. I'm going to do 5. This is arm. And one more. And there we go. Now, don't worry about taking too long on building arms, because how we build it like this, when we duplicate layers and we have layer upon layers, we can now move these individual things later on. And we can move them in different styles, individually sectioned, and we can move them as lump sums, which I'm going to show you how to do in a moment. So within this arm, then we have these five layers. Now, what I'm going to do is, I know these top 2 layers are going to be these two, and these 2 layers, which are going to be more is arm here is forearm. So I'm going to place these in that group together. So layer. Top copy of layer 6 I've now put into a group with Control and G, and this has formed layer 8. And the copy underneath it, if you follow along, I'm going to use the up to move that up into this folder. When I close this, I'm going to put this right in lower arm. Okay, for simplicity, just follow along, lower arm. And then these three here, I'm going to do a similar sort of thing. I'm going to put these in a group as well. I'm going to move that up, and I'm going to move this up. And this I'm going to put upper arm. Wait for it, I'll show you in a moment, okay? Now I'm going to open both these folders up so I can see all five again. You just see the bottom three now are in the upper arm, and the top two are in the lower arm. I know there's some backwards issues going on there, but it doesn't quite matter too much for this kind of thing. It will later on when we do more advanced critters, but for now we're just using circles and this doesn't matter. You'll see why soon. Now we have the lower arm and upper arm. And what we're going to do with the upper arm is I'm just going to do a little messing around. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to collect the transform tool, and I'm going to go to the very first one, the very first layer 6 down here, and which will be this one. And then I'm going to, using my shift key, holding it down, I'm going to drag this slightly from the corner to give it a bit of beef. We come over shoulder there. Right, I like the size of that. And then what I'm going to do is on the third copy, or the second copy of layer 6 here, as you can see, and this will be the middle one here. And what I want to do in the tool options here, next to layers, tool options, okay, I'd like you to click this middle one called the warp. Okay, and as you can see, you've got a grid on it here now. Now when you click the bottom box and just pull it down ever so slightly into the side, give you a little diggy elbow feel. It doesn't matter, I'm just trying to make my little spiky, I'll give it a little spike to it. You know what that'll do me, I'm not trying to be perfect. That little spike, you can mess around with the warp if you want, do nothing at all. Do something completely different, but this is how I'm going to do it. Oh, let me just turn that, I need to apply, sorry. Apply, guys. Sorry about that. Hit apply. If you made a mistake, unlucky, you shouldn't listen to me. I'm joking. just do it again, hit apply, and then go back to your original free box, and then layers, okay? Right, so we've now made a shoulder and an elbow. And then just in this lower arm, the very last copy of layer 6 will be the first one. And I'm just going to make this using my shift key and going to bring it in together to make it slightly smaller so it gives that kind of wrist feeling. Maybe a little bit bigger than that, but that'll do. Okay, and that is going to be his lower arm. Now we've got his upper arm and lower arm, and in his arm we need one more thing, which is his hand. Okay, so I'm going to click on lower arm and add a new layer, and I have layer 10 here. Now straight away I'm going to turn this into a group with Control and G, and I'll name that group that's come up as layer 11, and I'm going to name it hand. Okay. Now on this layer 10 that's within the hand now, we're going to put a Control and G on that and make that into a group. You'll see it'll start making sense soon, and the more you see it, the more you go, oh, I see what's happening now. So this layer 12 that's turned up, we're going to turn that into finger. You're just copying, guys, you're just copying, that's all. Right? Now, within finger, we have this layer 10. And within layer 10, we are just going to, like I said, just draw a circle. Now, I'm going to scroll in over here, even though I'm not necessarily going, well, actually, I'm not necessarily going to put it on here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to just put it off this. There we go. And then I'm going to take the resize in tool, this transform layer selection. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to bring the size in just by clicking and dragging this in like so. And maybe just bring it down so it touch up. It doesn't actually matter. Actually, just leave it. Just bring it in and leave it like so. It looks like a little finger sausage type thing. Okay. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go down to our duplicate, and then we're going to duplicate this, and it should come up copy of layer 10. And then what we want to do is select it. Now we need to bring it up to its meeting at the tips, but then bring it back down. So you do have sort of that curve in, like this sort of like little valley coming inwards on there. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to do it with the bottom one, right? So I'm going to do a layer 10. You can do it with the one. On layer 10, I'm going to bring this in a little bit more. Hello? Stubby feeling. You could, in essence, do 3 if you wanted. Right? I'm going to stick with 2. Right? I'm going to stick with 2. Now I'm going to close this finger and click on it. And now I have the entire finger and I can move it. But before I do anything else with it, what I need is I need a palm to go on. So on finger, I want to just select plus layer, and then so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put another circle here. But with the transform tool, what I'm going to do is just from the side, I'm going to bring it in, right, only slightly, and then I'm going to twist it just ever so slightly like this. Bring it a little bit more, so it's like the palm of my hand, right? And that's how I'm gonna use it. And then with the finger, I'm gonna snap my finger, and then I'm gonna take this over. And right now I'm thinking maybe a little bit too big. I'm gonna bring in a little bit with my shift key and then resizing it. And I'm just gonna angle it out a little, and I'm gonna be happy with that. Right, I'm gonna leave it there. Now, where I've got this layer 13, we know is my palm, so I'm gonna write palm. Right, and then with the finger and select again, and then I'm going to duplicate this finger. Again, I should have copied the finger, and then I'm going to move it across. And I'm going to keep my selection tool so I can transform this. Right, my transform tool, sorry. And then I'm going to keep doing this. I'm going to duplicate another finger, and you put on as many fingers as you want. If you're more than, I'm going to put 5 to be traditional. But if you want more, put more on there, of course, by all means. But I'm just going to keep repeating this, keep duplicating it, keep adding until I get to there, and then I'm going to do my thumb. So what I'm going to do now is make one more duplicate, but on this duplicate I'm going to name this, double click it and name it okay, thumb. So let me select this thumb, collect it, and then we're going to put it over here off to the side, and I'm going to zoom in on it just a little bit. Now open up your thumb folder, and you should have a copy of layer 10, and layer 10 is all the fingers we'll have. And all I'm going to do is select one of those, which is this one here, and separate it. And the smaller one, what I'm going to do, I'm going to plump this out a bit and spin it around this way and have it so it comes off like a thumb, like so. Okay. And then the other one, I'm going to bring in. I'm just going to make it a little bit shorter. Remember, guys, you make these a little fatter, maybe. You make them how you want to make them, how you feel like making them. You know, they're your hands. You need to make them look at how you want them to look. So we've got all our fingers in our palm of my hand now. So I'm going to close this hand and I select this hand, and I'm going to just check the sizing of it. I may spin it a little here as a hand. Now, don't forget, I've selected the entire hand. Make sure you've selected it all. And any mistakes you make, guys, don't forget you have the back key up here. You have Control and Z. And you have undo history. If you set up like me, you'll be behind you. You'll have undo history. All right, so I am going to try and make this arm a little bit, a little bit big. I want big hands on this. So I'm going to make, I'm going to make nice big hands. I don't know why that looks fun. I'm going to make very big hands. Now, why I say don't worry too much now, and you should already see what's going to happen here. Say don't worry too much on spending so much time on an arm and making it, because one, if in the long run, if you're going to make some sort of cartoon or a few different pictures, different expressions, you want to be able to move these arms rather than continuously repeating the arms over, and you get that the right scales and everything each time. In fact, you mess with them sometimes. Now, when I've got this arm, all I have to do now is click on this arm, and I'll double click this arm so you can see what's about to happen, and I'm going to call this the right arm. So I'm changing its name to right arm. Click off and back on it so you can see. And then all I'm going to do is, I'm going to click back on it and I want to duplicate it. Copy of the right arm. Once I've selected it, I'm now going to right click on my mouse, and you'll see I have these options come up. I'm not going to go into them all right now. What I'm going to tell you is, I think these are a cool way to get to the tool options. Didn't notice that before. I'll have a look at that. But right now, all we're going to do is flip horizontally or flip vertically. Now, I'm going to tell you again, and I always mention this, I always remember horizontally, if I look at the horizontally, it's H, and now you have a horizontal line in the middle that goes across, okay? But vertically, it's with a V, like a valley, and valleys are tall, and they go up. So I go vertical and horizontal. So I don't know if that works for you, always works for me. So mirror horizontally, and you see that arm is now flipped, that copy. So you pull that copy over here by like you dragging with your, like you would normally drag around cuttings and things that you've made by holding the left click on your mouse. You can drag that over here and apply it over here. Now you can double click this and just call this the left arm. I've just smashed out 2 arms. Guys, we're going to show you how to move these arms and much more soon coming up, huh? That's the end of this part. Hello? Don't forget to save your work. Now I'm going to go through that with you a little bit now in this leg section here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you this icon just up here in the top corner. What happens if you click this, you save. Now also in File you have Save and Save As. Now normally when you save your work for the first time it'll go through the Save As process. So I'll click Save As here just to show you what that is. And what it'll do is it'll bring up a dialog box here, from which inside it'll ask you what you want to save your folder as. Now on your computer you may have pictures, so maybe you want to save it in there, so maybe you click on pictures, and I got something in there called Erple Hi, just to show you. Now what it'll save as, like save as type, is a Krita document down here, down the bottom, okay? And if you click on it, it'll show you all the different things you can save as. Now we'll go into more of that a little later on, but for right now what we're doing is just saving this document, because you always want to have your Krita document, yeah, which is your CRA file. And then one file name, that's come down to uniqueness now, and that's what the individual file name you want to call it. So in this one, like I said, I'm going to call it CC and for Grazy Krita. But you can write Grazy Krita if you like. You know, anything you want. I'll stick with Grazy Krita and I'll hit save. Now you'll see here the subheading, you've got Grazy Krita. Okay, now I've got 2 folders open at this second. So you might just have one folder, so it'll just have one name up here. But when you open more than one file, you can have more than one folder up here. So Grazy Krita here is what we save now, and every now and again now when we want, we'll just hit this and it'll just save it as Grazy Krita. It'll overlap, save itself. I'm sure you get what I'm talking about. Right, so what we're going to do is get back into this thing, guys, back into the Grazy Krita, and we want to start off with the legs. So we're going to add a new layer then, okay, so we got layer 14 coming up there. Don't worry if you've got different layers because you've been deleting stuff, don't worry about that, as long as you know it's the next layer, okay. Just try and follow along as best as you can. So this next layer that adds in then, guys, and don't forget, sometimes, guys, the layers open up in the folders, you just have to drag them out or raise them out, whichever way you feel is best for you. So on layer 14, we're going to start with the leg. Okay, so what we're going to do is Control and G and turn this into a group, and when you come up layer 15, we're going to put that as leg for now, okay? Then we hit back down onto layer 14, and then we're going to zoom in on our Krita, and switch back to our basic brush and our basic 5 size, and we're going to bring the size down a little bit, not too much, just, it doesn't matter, you can reshape it as you want, okay? I'm going to go possibly just about the E, right? That's it, nice tiny kind of like that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to click once there, and then I'm going to bring the size down just a little bit with my scroller, a little bit more. Just hover the mouse over there and then roll down with your scroller, or you can just size it normally. And then I'm just going to make that a littler, and a little bit again. Boom. And that's it, guys. That's what I'm going to do for my leg, and that's all in one layer because I'm not going to move the legs or the knees or anything with this creature, but you can if you want to. And I'm just going to have that as a whole one leg. And what I'm going to do is one more. I just go into reposition this slightly. I'll do me, and then within this leg now, I'll do the foot as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add another layer, and this time I'm just going to go back to the basic brush, and I'm going to put just one dot there, and then I'm going to go to our transform tool, and this time without holding any keys, I'm just going to drag the box up this way. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this, and then I'm going to go, if you just move the mouse to the side here and hold the left clicker, you can move this up and down. Now in here there's a cross that we can move as a pivot point. So if we put it where the ankle would be, just there, and then you see what's happening there. So I thought a good opportunity to show you how I do this. Now what we want to do on this layer 16 is we're going to duplicate the layer. So we're going to go down to this duplicate layer, and it should say copy of layer 16. Now again, we're going to click on this with the left, and then we're going to move this anchor point to where the ankle would be again, and then we're going to drag this down. And once we drag this down, what I want to do is this, I want to resize this a little bit. I want to bring it in just ever so slightly like that, and I might even just bring it up a little bit, just like that. Okay, and then I'm going to copy that layer and I'm going to make a duplicate of that, and again I'm going to bring the anchor point to the ankle, and this time I'm just going to just slightly bring it over, so the gap in between these toes is larger than the gap in between these toes. You guys understand that? Yeah. Now once I've done that, I'm going to make that to Control and G, that top layer, and then these two other layers, these two copies of this, well, the two copies of layer 16 and layer 16, put into this new folder, and we can call this feet. So in leg and feet, we have the leg and feet. Okay. Now again, we have a kind of crazy leg here. Now, what I might do with the feet is I might make them a little bigger. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold the Shift key, and I'm going to drag it with the left clicker, and then I'm going to leave it like that. So what I'm going to do is just make sure that this joins up a little bit. You get the different shades, and guys, and you can fix that later with blenders or shades and stuff like that. But for now, I'm just teaching you how to have a little bit of fun with this. Okay. So yeah, I like that. Right, so what I'm going to do now is, again, with the leg, I'm going to put in the right leg. Okay, leg. And to click off a minute, and then I'm going to click back onto the right leg, and then I'm going to duplicate that layer. And then I have a copy of it now. Now this is the one that's just been copied, it's on top. So what I'm going to do is click onto it, and then within the right click selections here, we've got the mirror horizontal again. So we're going to click that, and now that's flipped, and we can bring that over here as the left leg. So I'm going to write left leg. And now we have one for a little crazy critter coming in. Okay, right, up next.
Hello.
What I want to show you just next now is just something that's going to make this pop a little bit. Hopefully you're having fun and you've got a nice little creation coming here. And you can see how you're going to be able to move this creation to make it different poses. But if you can keep from doing that just a moment until we've built this, we go on to the next part. And what I want to do is just because I want you to see the standard build a little bit. I'm gonna take you to the next bit and a couple of layer options. So if we back out now to the CC folder, so all we have to do is when next to CC, you click on the folder and it backs out to that, right? All that's still there. Don't forget it's in this folder. Now, if you click on CC and then right click on it, don't forget whatever you've named your critter might be the name of it, not CC. So I hope you've understood that. Layer style, I want you to click on that with your left clicker, and then you get this box coming. Now, I don't know all this yet. I'm experimenting with it, and I'm going to get back to you. And if anybody's watching and knows more about this and wants to let me know more about it, let me know, and I'll put it into these shadows. Right, drop shadow. I always click that. I like that one. It gives a little shadow effect. I click it and I'll move now, and you'll see like, ta-da! It's got like a shadow, and it's now popping out at you. Now you can start. Ooh, that's looking good. And yeah, it's all digital effects, but guys, this is what it's here for. This is the art I'm teaching you. I'm not teaching you to be this amazing artist. You can go on and learn to do that yourselves. I'm teaching you just how to use and have fun with digital art. Okay. Now, stroke. This is one I love, and this is one I use all the time. I love it. I don't know if the autism in me or whatever, but like we'll go into a lot of these, but stroke and drop shadow I can pretty much put on everything. Right? So I'm going to hit a drop stroke on this, sorry, and as you can see now, a black stroke has come up on this. Right now, all we got to do is click on stroke. We're going to put the opacity up to 100, and we're going to drop the size down to about 3. Okay, you'll see why now in a minute, and then voila! Look what we have going on. Right, we're going to hit OK on this because that's all we want from that now, and then hopefully you guys can see we have a nice black light outline around the entire, and we have like a shadow. You can turn the shadow off and now just have the black light outline if you like, or neither, or whatever you want, but this is how I like it. I think it looks cool. Now let me show you a little something now. If I take the like the think card to yourself now, right arm, okay, and then I click on the right arm. If I take that away and then just click off something else a moment, you see it gets, the stroke goes around. It's anything within this folder will have the entire outline, but where, as you know, the individuals overlap, because the colors overlap, and it's only going on the outside of it. I love it. I love it. And I don't know much about digital art, so wherever people think, yeah, this is normal stuff, Carl, I know, but this is new to me. Like I said, I'm a beginner as well. I'm just enjoying what I'm doing right now. So guys, you know, you can mess around with sizes and put things back together, and you always have that nice stroke around it. It's great for people doing like more the cartoony type art, even for their line art, because it's doing your line art for the outside view. You know, it's probably just a beginner thing, so you know, have fun with it, especially if you're just young and just having a really good time with this. So it'll be great. And so I'm going to leave that part for now, and then next we'll go on to creating some eyes. Right then, let's create some eyes. So what we're going to do then, guys, is just go to our left leg, which should be on the top there. If yours is not, just whatever's on top, and add another layer. Shocking, I know. And then we've turned that layer with Control and G into a group. I know, again, shocking. And then what we do this time is we're just going to write I for the name of the group, and then click down on the layer that's in the group. Then click our freehand brush, and we want to select a black in color. Now I know we've shown you how to do eyes on other videos, and you can use those eyes and import them in if you like, but I'm going to quickly go through an eye we're going to use for this just really quickly, and then you can use whatever eyes you want to use on them if you've got ones already done. So I'm going to get the sizing up here, and oh, that's actually not a bad size. Yeah, it's not a bad size, but I'm not going to go with it for reasons I'll show you at the end. Right? So you can, if you have a size like that, you can go for it. Okay, that's not a bad size. But I'm going to go for the size for a reason I'll show you at the end. Okay, so all I'm going to do is click a black circle there, and then I'm going to add a layer, and then I'm going to bring the sizing down to my scroller, which means I'm going to scroll down on my mouse. Or you might just have to move it down like so. Okay, so I'm going to try and get a nice fit inside it. I'm not going to give it. Oh, it's black. Control and Z, then guys, get rid of that, and then change it to white, and put that inside instead. And I'm just going to do a sizing job because I'm there we go. Right, I just want to show that because that's how I normally do things, because sometimes I just, with sizing and everything, and if it's easier for you to do it like that, it may just be so much quicker, okay? And so add another layer, and then we're going to go for a color this time. So, oops, sorry, just click out a brush. I'm going to go for a color this time. I'm going to go for a light blue. Don't need it that big, and I'll just bring the size down a moment. That actually might be fine. Yeah, nice light blue in size. I'm going to add another layer. I'm going to bring the size down a little bit more. I'll go for black, a little bit more than that. Yeah, something like that. Shockingly, I'm going to bring the size down a little bit more. I'm going to add another layer. Zoom in, and I'm going to turn it to white again, and then do two little dots like that. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do these layers I've just done, I'm going to group this top one I just finished, Control and group, and then the black and the blue circles I'm going to put in here. I'm just going to move them up into that group, and then I'm going to make this layer 20 into a group, the white circle, and put the black up in there with it. And I've got an option there to move its eyes around. Is that right? Yeah, there you go. And that is the eye, guys. That's my eye done. Now within that eye, I suppose I could just put one as pupil, and then one as eyeball, just for reference and everything. I mean, let's keep everything all day, you know. If you're a messy person, you don't like putting all these oddly names in, I mean, good luck with it all. I mean, I generally mean that. I mean, I find that very difficult, but I do it myself. Sometimes I get carried away. But anyway, we're going to go onto the eye folder now anyway, and get our transform tool. And this is why I wanted to show you guys, because generally I don't want you to worry about sizes and stuff, because you can always reshape things. So if I bring this in here and then I hold my shift key, I can then hold my mouse and drag with the left and bring it out, and then just sort of like move it in again. I kind of like that feeling where it's thin there and then a little thicker there and a little thicker there. If you guys catch my drift, yeah, I like that idea. And then what I'm going to do then is I'm just going to take this, click on this eye, and then I'm going to duplicate it, and then I have a copy of the eye. I should have named it actually, which we'll do now. We'll just name them, left eye, right eye. But yes, always zoom in, guys. I'm always trying to rush. So I think that with the left eye, is it left eye, and then the other eye, I can do the right eye. Now, what I might do with these eyes is actually stick them in the body, because the sockets are there. So, or I might just put the sockets in the right eyes. So that is the left. Now we'll go in the left one. And of course, he wants to overthrow it. I'll move that down to the bottom layer. So if you put it into the left eye and then put it down below eyeball, and then the other one embodied, stick that into the right eye, and do the same thing, because then you can move the socket and the ball, everything together. So yeah, so you move that you move that down below the eyeball. Okay, there you go, and you've got the same thing. Well, we're all good, but we're learning together. All right, and that's the eyes, guys. I hope you can see cool things we can do here. I'm just gonna, before we let you go, I'm just gonna quickly show you, like with the right eye. If I just, you can resize this thing. If I hold Shift key and resize the eye, you can do like funky monsters that look like this. You know what I mean? Oh, sorry, right eye. We can, you can just sort of like one-eyed monster sort of thing going on here. Experiment, guys. You can add more than one eye, more than just. I'm actually thinking of leaving it with a big one eye at the moment. It's really fun. I'll show you what it's supposed to look like quickly. I'll cheat. Ready? It's supposed to look something like this. Ha! Yay! But I might stick with the one eye and do them, and then show you the other one. That might be cool. All right, guys. See you in the next one. And that is it for part one, guys. I hope you really enjoyed it. Part two now, just around the corner. Go watch that. Finish off this critter and see what wonderful things you guys can come up with. Hope you had a great time. I'll see you in the next one, and keep creating that. What's happening, crazy creators? And that is it for the show, I'm afraid. I hope you've had a good time. I hope you enjoyed the show. Please, guys, like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. It's all wonderful news. But if you can just spread the word, let everybody know. I need it. I need lots and lots of viewers so I can progress my art and get more involved and get more stuff done. There's so much we want to do, and with your help we can do it. So if you can just share with everybody, that'd be great. Just try and watch every show as best as you can. That all helps us. It helps us get our show out there, helps people find the show, and can help people find themselves. So please do that if you can. In the meantime, as you can see, we have links and codes coming up on the screen. Check out all those. Help out whoever you can help out. But guys, we got other things coming in the future on how you can help just with your art alone. So just if you can't do anything, just stick with the art at least. That'd be great. And just like I said, spread the word. Thank you, guys. Peace.